How the heck do you avoid a burnout? Well, today I think is the perfect day for me to talk about that because I literally just did a 7.5-hour live stream where I answered your finance, real estate, and money-making questions. After all, that is what we talk about on this channel, how to make money and how to build wealth. But along with that comes, well, the grind and the idea that, well, what if you get struck by burnout? And unfortunately, everybody does. How to handle that is exactly what we're going to talk about here. And I have 5 suggestions on how to get over burnout. And this isn't gonna be any kind of like BS lame-o suggestion like, oh, go take a vacation and go spend yourself into debt and make yourself feel even worse when you get back. Because usually, if you're just looking for a temporary bandage to make yourself feel better, you just end up even more bitter because you still haven't solved your burnout problem. So let's go into some real solutions for dealing with burnout. Number 1, repurpose what it is that you're doing. That is, find a new motivation as to why you're doing what it is that you're doing. You might get motivated by building a family empire and having that feeling of success that one day you'll be able to run the business that you're building or share the wealth that you're creating with the children that you have or hope to have. See, when you just work for money, you tend to get miserable and burned out pretty quickly. One of my motivations is exactly that, building something that I could share with my children and repurpose why I'm doing something actually keeps me excited and moving forward. I think of them, I think of family when I think of what I'm doing. But another way you could also repurpose what you're doing is by looking at your job as a way of leading to some kind of other goal. My favorite example of this is using that job that maybe you don't like, maybe you're feeling a little burned out about right now. Let's say, for example, you're a cop and you're working a lot of overtime hours and you're just getting worn out. You're working 60 hours a week and it's overwhelming. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. I get it. I've been there. I still work 60, 70 hours a week. It sucks. But one thing that I'm able to do is I'm able to sort of repurpose my primary job. And I suggest this for anybody. If you have a W-2 income, that is, you're getting paid a salary, or you're getting paid hourly, or maybe you're self-employed, but you're putting that work in and you're just getting kind of burned out on that grind. Ask yourself, what can you now do with that? Beyond repurposing it for family or children or some kind of motivation, think of another way to repurpose your job as investing in real estate. That tends to be one of my favorite examples because without your job, without getting this paycheck, this regular income, you can't invest in real estate. And maybe you've never invested in real estate before. In such a case, you should really consider the amazing powers of building wealth and building wealth really quickly through real estate investing by buying deals or properties below market value and then going in and doing basic fixes like paint, carpet. I call these wedge deals. And to me, if maybe you're working those 60-hour weeks and you're just frustrated with your job, you're going home, you're tired, you're exhausted, you could actually use something like real estate investing to get you excited about your job. See, when you buy real estate, you need a job to be able to qualify for the real estate. So if you get excited about the wealth potential that you can build with real estate and how quickly you can extrapolate how wealthy you are, how you can buy a property and your net worth could jump $100,000 the day you close escrow because you're able to buy properties below market value, that should excite you. And so now here's sort of a reverse that comes out of that. That is, you get excited about the concept of, oh, I want to learn how to buy wedge deals. You know what? Maybe I'll enroll in Kevin's real estate investing course, or I'll enroll in a stock course or whatever. And I'll spend some time learning and studying how I can take advantage of some different ways of building wealth outside of just working for my money. And then I'm going to use the fact that I have a job and I can qualify for a loan as a way to buy real estate investments. Now all of a sudden you get excited over the idea of building wealth much faster through real estate investing. Now your job actually becomes less miserable. You can actually get over burnout because you're excited about a new goal. So repurposing your job is probably the most powerful way, in my opinion, to get over burnout. It's something that's helped me dramatically. Family focus first was always a great way to repurpose. But investing in real estate and using the money that I make in sort of the daily grind and dumping that into real estate and seeing it multiply, that's what I love. Just this year, in 2019, I bought 3 single-family houses. On the first one, I spent $450,000, spent $50,000 fixing it up, and it's worth $600,000 now. The second property, I bought for $465,000. I'll spend about $40,000 on it, and that's also worth about $600,000 to maybe $615,000, maybe a little bit more than the first one. And the third property I bought for $650,000. I put less than $25,000 into it, and it's worth $775,000. That's how you can build net worth. And I did 3 of those this year, and I share the story of those properties on this channel. But if you really want to learn how to master doing this, make sure to join me in the real estate investing course. There's a 22% off coupon code 10x2020 going on right now for the investing course. If you're a real estate agent, there's also a real estate agent course because I'm a real estate broker, or you could meet me in person at some of my events. The second trick I like to use to get over burnout is I like to gamify what I'm doing. When I was in middle school and high school, I played a lot of Counter-Strike, Halo, Splinter Cell, RuneScape, and World of Warcraft. And in those games, I always knew that if I just follow this pattern of grinding for X hours, I know that I'm going to get to some kind of reward. And if I, in my mind, gamify that when I'm working and putting my hours in, I'm sort of in that mining guild, mining away at the coal, doing bank runs, mining away, killing those mobs that I need to kill for that quest. I know I'm doing it for a better end goal. Now, my end goal goes back to how I've repurposed my life, but when I gamify what I'm doing and I play like, okay, I just need to get through, another 50 coal runs, I feel a little bit more enthused and I feel a little bit more energetic about what it is that I'm doing. Like, yes, I am almost accepting that, yes, I'm in the grind, but that, you know what? That's okay. By being in the grind, I'm putting in the game. This is the same thing as being in the fishing guild and sitting there caging lobsters over and over and over again. Yeah, it's a grind, but it's okay. I'm doing it because it's fun. In fact, that's where you almost want to think like, wait a minute, that's actually interesting. Like, why is it that we will grind in a game, but we'll be frustrated about grinding in work? Well, usually it's only our mindset that, well, we have to work, but we get to play the game, right? But if we gamify our job and we could take a little bit of sort of that gamification passion over, oftentimes we can help overcome at least some element of burnout. The third way I like to get over burnout is I just completely change what I'm doing. And that could be temporarily or that could be in the long term. Sometimes burnout could mean you're at the end of the road in a certain job. If you've maxed your income potential, growth is limited, you're not interested in doing what it is you're doing anymore, maybe it's just time for a complete change. I always like to look and say, hey, I could probably always go back to what I was doing. But if I'm not happy doing what I'm doing anymore, if I'm frustrated and I can't gamify it, I can't repurpose it, I've tried everything else, sometimes it's okay to just move on and try something completely different. And sometimes you can do this by sampling changes. The fourth method to get over burnout, and this is usually if you're in just a bad place. This is when things are really rough right now and you're really unhappy and you're just not feeling it. And this happens. It's frustrating, but we all get to that place sometimes. So it's just something we have to talk about. Sometimes it's important to just be okay with shutting down and just take a sabbatical. Shut down what it is you're doing. Take 2 weeks off. Focus on doing nothing. Wake up, make yourself a cup of coffee, buy a newspaper, and literally focus on doing nothing. If you can. I mean, sometimes, unfortunately, we have to work, and it's difficult to do this, but a lot of us have vacation pay, but we don't afford ourselves the ability to take that vacation pay for staycation time. but do it. Literally try it. If you're feeling burned out, you have vacation pay, or you could float yourself on a sabbatical, do it. Wake up, drink that coffee, read that newspaper, just stare at the trees, listen to the birds, listen to nature, and realize that you're still alive. Like, feel the earth again. And then go take a nap, and then go open that newspaper again and take another nap. Like, literally do nothing for 2 weeks. Try it. Because sometimes you have to completely make yourself feel like you've done nothing to really clear your mind and be able to do something productive again. Now, the fifth way that I personally like to overcome burnout, and this is something that I like to do if I can on a regular basis, because if the days just continue to be mundane and every day blends together, every day has a sort of similar pattern, it gets frustrating. You kind of get bored of you get home from work at 5, you do your sort of usual routine, and then you sit and watch a few shows and then you go to sleep. That can get old, and then you can get burned out on sort of your day because you're not really looking forward to anything, and then that's bad. So the fifth trick that I like to use is I'll schedule something that really excites me on a day. That could be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go over my dad's house and we're just gonna talk, and we're gonna have, we're gonna share a bottle of wine, or you know what, we'll share a bottle of sparkling water. It just depends on what our mood is that day. And I'll purposefully schedule that early. Like, it has to be something that you schedule early in the morning. Ideally, if you schedule it somewhere around 7, 8, 9 a.m., you now get excited about getting all of your work done before your 5 o'clock date, so to speak. So scheduling something different and entertaining towards the end of the day that you can look forward to can be really powerful. That could be a date with your spouse or your girlfriend. That could be beer with your father-in-law. That could be wine with your parents. It could be, going on a run, scheduling time to go to the gym because you haven't gone for a while. And you know what, just taking that time to listen to an audiobook and slap on some Beats headphones and just go at it, right? Surprisingly, scheduling something special for yourself, even it doesn't have to be long, even if it's just an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and 60 minutes, 90 minutes, they can be really powerful to get you sort of through that day. And if you do that 2-3 times a week, surprise, surprise, you're able to really get through the grind of your day-to-day. Now, just a heads up, the coupon code for the real estate investing course does end on September 10th. That's my father's birthday. So make sure to lock in that 22%. And that's what I have for 5 ways to avoid burnout. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, and until next time.